about the storytelling and localized digital ads. And just to go a bit over the impact that this kind of strategy and tactics really have on campaigns, we were able to, with a cost per view of 3 cents, reach 73,000 views within a month. What counts as a view, and this is, by the way, this is done through Google Ads, and it's what we use for the Google Ads is the YouTube channel with videos. I wanted to start with the impact of what this kind of work does first. But really what counts as a view is not just, oh, you just saw it pop up on your screen while you were watching YouTube. It's actually, the person has to watch it for at least 30 seconds. So that really shows that the difference in terms of views versus impressions. Impressions is how many times the ad got served to somebody, and we were able, and then how many people actually became interested for the content. And that was 46% of the people who were reached. That's the people that got to watch it, and these are 73,000 views across many videos. And the videos we're going to go and cover right now, we're going to see what they look like. But just to give a start, we were able to narrowcast it. The way we see it is TV has changed. You know, a lot of politicians like to put their ads on TV. They're very expensive. You can't really track how well that's performing, how much you're really having an impact. But for campaigns like ours, it's not something that is very efficient. So in here, we can actually, we were able to target the audiences on the specific zip code. Good thing that the zip code sometimes matches the district. In this case, it matched it practically, perfectly. And that what we were able to see was also how many people, not just how many people, we couldn't identify unique individuals, but we were able to identify how many views we were able to get. And Google Ads was able to give us information in terms of what the age groups of the people that viewed the ad were. You see that even 65 years and older, we were able to reach. Just so that everybody is aware, I think it was about maybe 4,000 or 4,000 voters, people that voted on that past election for the Ward D City Council race. And this is an interesting breakout because we were able to reach every age and demographic. And what we did also is build the strategy behind what do we want to say, what's the key message, but also really build the narrative across a match of who the candidate is, what type of topics we want to talk about, what do people, why should people listen, and be impactful at the beginning, because most of the views drop within the first 5 seconds. Again, this is a skip, a video ad that can be skipped right away. It's not, making you wait for 5 seconds until you're able to skip the video. So the content has to be relevant. It has to be something that catches people's attention. Something that I want to call out in this one is we've made one video on affordability. Something to look out for is that got restricted by YouTube and Google because there's some restrictions in terms of home lending and affordability, in terms of housing. Anything that mentions housing really has some limits in geo-targeting the digital ads. So that's just something to keep in mind when you plan out your content, and that we were able to see happen only after we started launching that campaign. But we were very successful in showcasing those videos. I want us to start with, as a candidate and as a communications team, on your purpose and your why, right? So this one's mine. This is not the candidate's, Danielle Freire. This is just an example. So companies and individuals, or and brands, right? They usually have a mission statement, and the mission statement is usually 3 sentences, 4 sentences, and what happens with that is that nobody really remembers it, and the employees don't remember the direction of the company. Everybody has their own version, so it's important to come up with a mantra, and a mantra is 3 to 4 words that really sum up your North Star. Like, what's your why you're doing this, right? Me personally is growth in solidarity. That means that when we all look out for one another, we all grow, we all become better as a society. And I take this with me. For me, there's no difference between what I do in my daytime job, and that's what I've been trying to align, and what I do in terms of politics and advocacy. And because at the end of the day, your actions have to match your mantra, because if there's inconsistency between your actions and what people know about you and what you're saying and what you think your mantra is, then there's an inconsistency in your brand. And this level of advertisement, I want to make sure that everybody understands, isn't the level of awareness and consideration. There's a funnel that people talk about, when it comes to marketing, and there's that notion that or that train of thought that you have to do 7 touches in order for somebody to go out and vote for you, right? And this digital advertisement is certainly something that they're not just going to see it once; they're going to see it 3-4 times the video ad, but that triggers a certain amount of awareness and consideration. Like, I like what that candidate is talking about, to then for them to also be able to go out and vote. You need to still do door knocking. You still need to do text banking, phone banking, make events. Like, you still have to be out there in the community. This is not a replacement for that. This is just part of the face, because the more that people know who you are, what you stand for, and they start liking your message, then you're more likely to then go and really be having those conversations with people, sticking to people's minds, reinforce the notion of what you stand for and what you're working towards, and why they should go out and vote for you. So you build your identity as a combination of your purpose, your mantra, and the 3 story buckets. Your mantra, again, it's not a slogan that you have to use. It's more of an easier explanation of why you're doing what you're doing. And that's a question that you're going to get as a candidate or as an advocate, an organizer, an organization all the time is, okay, but what's behind this, right? And that's what's important to prepare that for you as an explanation, but also as that core identity, because that's the way that people are going to see you and perceive you, whether they are, and in politics and professionally, if you don't define yourself, other people will define you for you. So again, this is a combination of what you say and what you do. So you build your identities with 3 buckets, and the 3 buckets that we used here was, we had to do one about who Danielle was, who the candidate was, and because part of her identity was she's Latina, we included a video in Spanish as well, and that was more of the intro. This is the first video that we did. It got the one in English got 19,000 views. The one in Spanish got 21,000 views. I wouldn't recommend targeting only for Spanish speakers on the AdWords for the promotion of the Spanish video, because it limits it, because it goes back to settings. It's not as preference of like what kind of content they're doing. But because we knew that there was a high population of Spanish speakers in the district, in the ward, then that's why we just opened it up to the whole, and so people will get served the ad in Spanish and the ad in English. And if people were not interested in the Spanish one because they didn't understand Spanish, they could always skip it. But we saw a very high engagement, as you can see, in terms of the number of views. Again, because that means they watched it or heard or listened to it for at least 30 seconds. And the videos, we are at a time and place that right now we are only focusing as an audience. We need a pitch, an elevator pitch that's 30 seconds. because or else you lose our interest, and you need to be able to, provide that value then. The other one was climate crisis. There had just been floodings also around this time period. Climate change is something that's not going away. So it was a way to call out that importance and that urgency that we need, as well as safer streets. And this type of information was a combination again of who the candidate was, what that candidate has been building upon with the community, and then also what are the issues that she's been hearing when she's going door knocking, when she's talking to voters, when she's talking to activists. That way it goes hand in hand. I know that we have, it's 1:30. I want to make sure that everybody has time for some questions. Again, what you're going to use is Google AdWords, where you're going to have your information, your videos ad, and the link to the video that you're going to use to serve the ads is going to be on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. And then you're able to target it, geo-targeted by zip code. But really, you have to start as a candidate, as in a campaign, identifying your mantra, and that is those 3 to 4 words of where you stand for, and that has to be your North Star, so that you can build your 3-story buckets and how that feeds and how that is consistent with that, and then launch the ads 2 months before election. The longer the ads are running, the candidate and the people on the team kept saying like, yeah, I spoke with somebody. I was like, yeah, I saw the video. Yes, I heard what she was talking about in the video ad when I was watching YouTube. I keep seeing you in the ads. And that's like being on TV all the time, but this is the newish TV. Everybody watches YouTube now. That's the second largest search engine when people are looking for information besides Google itself. So it's an important platform to be on. It's in broadcast. That's more affordable. Again, the average cost per view was 3 cents on this one. Way more affordable than Instagram and Facebook. So if you have more budget, definitely use the other platforms. If your budget is limited and you want higher impact, I suggest this platform. Okay, cool. I got some extra 5 minutes. But if anybody has any questions that you may have, I'm more than happy to answer them. Hi, Sara.
Hey, Ron. Thank you so much. I don't necessarily have a question, but I just wanted to thank you for, your time and sharing this. It was really interesting. And, also thank you to Danielle. I mean, this is kind of like a case study on your election, and it's very interesting, great results. And I learned a lot.
Yeah, no, and the setup is very easy. And again, like, I didn't want to go into this is how you do it in terms of setting up the YouTube account or setting up the Google Ads. It's very simple. You can literally YouTube it and see how you can set it up. You just need a Gmail account. You start with opening up the Google Ads, and make sure you're using the card for your campaign, so you can keep the campaign finance all in track. There's no limitations other than looking out for not doing targeted ads when it comes to housing, because that brings a red flag and doesn't allow you to really promote. So that one you would just be with organic, non-paid views of that video.
Right. And I know, your presentation, and I guess what you did for the campaign was mostly focused on YouTube ads, but I don't know, do you see similar results running ads in other places like Facebook?
On Facebook is a bit more limited, especially with the way that political ads have been limited, in the past couple of years on Facebook. Like I said, I haven't seen as much efficiency. You could use the database of voters to reach targeted, but the reach is very small. especially in this kind of races when you have like a voter list of like 4,000 people. When you see the rule in that marketing funnel is that you say, yeah, I reached, like what we said right now is that we got 70,000 views for the YouTube ads, but it's not going to be all, because some people get repeated like ad, right? And the more that it repeats, the better it is, because that gets stuck into people's heads. But if that video, those ads repeat four times, that means your universe of people that you're reaching is smaller, but also the number of votes you need is also smaller. So, but on the Facebook ads, or if you upload the voter list and then say, I want to reach these people, two things have to happen. One, they would have to have an email address that matches their social media account or their phone number. Then also what happens is they may see it, but they may not really interact with it. So that narrows it down from like 4,000 people or 5,000 people that you have on your list to maybe 2,000 people that will actually get it served. And then the people that actually take an action could be a percentage of like maybe 10% of that actually will click, interact with the post. And then even a narrower one, the number of people that will actually go out and vote for you. So again, it's not a choice of whether you should do one or the other. It's more, and I put this example many times, is when they ask, well, should we be on Facebook or should we be on YouTube? I was like, well, listen, if you could be on both, do it, right? If you could be on Instagram as well, do it. But it's like asking, should I be on NBC and CNN or one or the other? It's like, if you can be on both, why not, right? Sorry, Danielle, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if you can quickly talk about like budget, because I think for us, we had a lean budget, but we knew to be strategic with this particular avenue of visibility. So for people who want to run or considering running, like how much at a minimum should they be allocating for investing in something like this? And like, how does that look like?
Yeah, so I was able to estimate I was actually estimating based on 7 cents per view, because he just kept, it was the quality of the content, because if the content is not good, it becomes more expensive because people they're trying to serve it to more people, really push it out there, and that means was more competition on the bidding. So for your universe, I suggested 2,500. If you could do more, the better, because and we had to we didn't release all the videos at once because we wanted to start telling a story, first introducing you, then talking about the issues, then going back and saying, hey, there's a runoff, there's the early voting, and then we were talking about the early voting all throughout that week with that same video, and then we switched it back to this is the last day to vote. And so you need those number of videos. So if you can do, you don't have to do that much budget. You could do a smaller budget of like $500 per month throughout the month. Then you will get smaller number of views, but you're constant throughout the campaign. And then you could really do the big push, which is what we did. It was a 2,500. It was at the last month, and we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it about a month or more beforehand, because you have vote by mail as well, that people receive their vote by mail a lot earlier than what the election day is. So that's why you want to start a lot earlier. Perfect world, it would have been 2 months before election day. But if you launch it 1 month ahead, that still helps a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that budget is very manageable, especially when it comes to a ward race, which is a smaller district, and a congressional or a legislative that might be a bit bigger. Any other questions? Cool. Well, thank you so much. Yep.
Sorry, I had one more question.
Yep.
So you mentioned that you budgeted 7 cents per view. I guess, like, where does that number come from? Like, is there an average, that you would usually do per view?
So that's the cost per average. That's the average cost per view, right? And you get that in that initial slide that I showed at the beginning. It showed, actually, let me show you real quick. On this one, it was because of historical experience. I was saying it could be 7 cents. As the content was good and just efficiencies, and because we were alternating the videos, it became better. It dropped to 3 cents per view. And having the Spanish language video, it got so much traction. You could see how we pushed a lot more, how we had a higher budget, and you can modify the budget on how much you want to spend per day. And so at the beginning, we said $200 per day. So that way it would have that big push at the beginning. And then we wanted to level it out so that we can really, focus on the rest. And we had this drop off on the 29th was because of that photo of, the housing ad. And we ramp it up because we noticed that issue. But that's how we were able to determine the 7 cents.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I think we are about to switch to the other room, or no? I think I got a notice.
Yeah, we're shutting down.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think this is important. This is something that we could do at the organization at large as well, to keep that consistency and really project that message and actions that we want to do in the future.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, thank you.